John Tibbs getting our in-studio guests bopping their heads and dancing around and doing their thing. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the music out here. And it looks like our listeners are actually enjoying what you guys have to say. And they've got some comments of their own, but we will share those when I share the quote minute. For now, let's get into the next segment of our conversation. Now, as kingdom men, or rather young men, generally, you guys can have any sort of relationship that you want. And, society puts in front of us, or puts in place rather, the standard of the kind of relationships we should have and what's right and what's wrong and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. But with you guys aspiring for godly, or rather kingdom relationships, what is it that made you guys want such a relationship aside from your faith?
Okay, I think I'm going to go first here so that I'm not...
I'll try.
I think for me it was looking at my parents' relationship. I've been fortunate enough and been blessed that I've been raised in a home where my parents have a loving relationship. And so I've always aspired to have a relationship like that. And then that for me has been a goal. And I mean, yes, relationships are not easy. There are the ups and the downs and the seasons, but just the way they relate to each other and the way they share their faith together, the way they pray together. And for me, that was something that I'm like, God, one day I would like a relationship like that where I am able to, to relate to my partner freely, relate to my partner, share the scriptures with my partner, pray together with my partner, and that for me is an aspiration for that. So I'd say my parents, that's,
sure.
Yeah.
That's absolutely lovely because, not everybody is that fortunate or that blessed to have their home, their family, or their parents as an example of a kingdom or a godly relationship. And if you have that is such a beautiful foundation. That is something so beautiful because not only do you have somebody to look up to, but you've got godly counsel.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Mash, with you, actually, I want to ask you a slightly different question, but the same thing. He said it was his parents that kind of set the standard, but for you, what is it that set the standard for you to want a relationship with a kingdom woman, with a godly woman?
Wow.
It's the same question,
The way we ask things often makes a big difference. I'd have to say it's straying on the wrong path, or to say the worldly path, and getting your fingers burnt a bit too much, and also bored. If I can call it that. The world is too easy, but living in Christ is a far different level of
wow. Yeah, you can high five, it's fine.
So you need to elevate your standards in every degree that you can. I mean, in your social spheres, in your educational spheres. And I just found myself asking this lady for her number to help me with programming. And in my head I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying? I haven't been to church in a while, but okay, why not?
So she took you to church.
She took me to church, but also the desire to kind of set a foundation or a new precedence and break the generational curses, and actually aspiring to say one day to my children, this is how it's actually done, and this is how I did it. But most of all, it was a deep desire within me because I did not experience something that special with a kingdom woman. I mean, anyone can tell you that there's a difference between meeting the person down the street and somebody who just has that attraction, that appeal, that unmysteriousness, and say like, hey, how are you? I think I've met you before, but I don't know, but I do know you in spirit. And it's something that I do say to people, that you need to pray. You need to feel and suss out the aura of somebody spiritually before you go into it and say, can you please be my girlfriend, or let's do this, or let's do that. It's best friends set on fire, and then that's what comes down to a relationship.
I agree with you. Full on. I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead.
Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think your point on the whole friendship and fire and the prayer aspect. Because a lot of times, we don't actually seek counsel, seek God for our relationship. You see somebody attractive, great. Ooh. As
that's
men,
the first thing we look at. It's always that attraction.
And us guys, right? we've got the eyes. I mean,
what happens when the attraction fades, guys?
You see that, and that's for me is what's attractive about a godly woman is that
It's not
there is
about
more
that.
to, it's not about outside, it's about the inside. And
There
if
we
you
go.
can get that inside, and look, sometimes, you know, it's a risk you take. I always believe that
Yes.
when you step, you know, your relationship is always about risks. You know, sometimes, but you never know if you don't take that risk. You know, but the element of praying for that partner,
Yes.
you know, and that's
Beautiful.
something my dad told me when I was young. He's like, pray for your partner.
That is
Pray
beautiful.
for your partner one day, and until you hit the spot right there, that is key. And I think the best friend aspect also.
Yes, please.
You know,
that
and-
is definitely key.
And you know, that is a solid foundation of any relationship. I believe is the friendship aspect.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't get into a car store and we decide to buy a car that's too expensive, then it restrains us at the end of the day. You know, it needs to be perfectly fitted for you. And if you're not willing to set out the standards of what you actually want, then what are you attracting? What are you
Sure.
asking God for?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, you know, I'm just thinking now, obviously thinking back to conversations we've been having and all of that stuff, but listening to what you guys are saying, you know, I must put it out there that even us as kingdom women, myself, aspiring to continuously grow into being a Proverbs 31 woman daily to my partner, and, you know, to be that example one day to my kids, as women or as kingdom women, we are in this world. We are not of this world, but we are in this world, and we are not perfect. You know, we aren't perfect. We make mistakes. We are humans.
Yeah.
We won't always make kingdom decisions. That is the bitter truth that we sometimes overlook when we speak kingdom business. That yes, we've got that human element in us, and sometimes it overpowers our kingdom self. And even with you guys, you know, I'm inspired right now because obviously you guys choose and you aspire to live the kingdom life, but it's not always easy. So for you guys to make these decisions, it must have been like a daily decision. It must be something you choose to do every day, that I choose to walk the kingdom path. I choose to, you know, have a kingdom relation. I mean, you can decide right now, right here, that I want any girl, or I don't want to have one girl. Even though I have, because we have justifications for everything, but for you guys to be able, or for one rather, not just you two, but for a person to continuously decide that I want to be in a kingdom relationship, it is not easy, hey?
It's not easy.
No, definitely
Tough.
not, eh? And if I can say that to everyone who's listening, it was never meant to be easy.
That's true.
You're right.
You know, and I think I'll just end it off there.
I think like yeah, let's end it off there for now. I think like Mesh said, you know, if things are too easy, then we get bored.
Yeah.
So sometimes the toughness, or the challenge rather, is what keeps us going, because it makes our skins that much more thicker. If you have anything to add to what these two gentlemen are saying with us here in studio, please feel free to SMS us, send us a message on WhatsApp, on Twitter, on the SMS line, anything, anywhere, whatever it is that is more convenient to you. Get in touch with us here in studio. We would love to know what you think